What's up, everybody? My name is Indy, and the gentleman right next to me, that is Jay Powell from Powell Group Consulting, and welcome to another Friday awesome edition of Indie Game Business. And we have got the infamous Jack Pattillo with us today. The title of this is From Content Creator to Community Manager. So, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Thanks. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for.
It's always nice when we get professionals on here, right now. Well, I mean, you're more professional than I am, so I'm the only one that's like making this shit up as I've been going on for the last 7 years.
I mean, I don't know that you can call me professional. I've got Mickey Mouse ears literally behind me, so it's like I just kind of play video games and try to enjoy what I'm doing. So
well, at least they're not Mickey Mouse ears on your headset, right?
Sure.
No, I don't have my cat ears today, so
yeah. So, Jack, let's start. We always love starting here. Tell us how you originally got into games and then walk us through your career up to this point.
Well, when I was a baby, I had so if we're going back, I mean, old school video games, I grew up in the 80s. NES was my jam. Like, I was a kid, loved that. Loved video games growing up. I was kind of in that age range where when I was younger, it was not cool to play video games. Like middle school, I'd be playing Doom on my PC and stuff, and everyone thought I was a nerd about it. Now it's like you have to play games. But first job, and my literal first job ever was an arcade in Austin. Worked at Sega City. It was an awesome arcade. Loved it. Used to go there when I was a kid, so that was fun. And then just kind of like, I always loved games growing up. And then I went to college. I got a film degree from the University of Texas. And when my first job out of college was working for a video game company doing marketing. So I was cutting trailers. So I would actually take our games, capture footage, and cut trailers. There's the company called Aspire, which is still around now. And so I was doing that. And then around that time, I ended up making friends with the guys who did Red versus Blue at Rooster Teeth. And just through mutual friends. And ultimately, they were looking for more content for their site. They were, when they weren't in season for Red versus Blue, their website, there was a lot of kind of downtime. There wasn't a whole lot going on. So they needed more content. And so I pitched them some story ideas and some ideas for the site. They bought a few of them, and I started writing for those guys. And one of the ideas I pitched was this thing called forced enjoyment, which was one of the guys was making me play terrible video games. And so I would capture footage and I would do some like text over it and stuff, and it went really well. And Jeff Ramsey, who I was working on this project with, took me out to get us some food one night, and he pitched me this idea of I'm dating myself, but it was GameFAQs.com, but with video with the Rooster Teeth personality. And yes. So it was like, okay. And so we started kind of kicking around ideas, and eventually that spawned Achievement Hunter, which Achievement Hunter was around for about 16 years before he finally shut down. And and that's where everything kind of blew up. So with Achievement Hunter, we were doing video game tutorials and guides, eventually started doing Let's Plays. We grew and grew and grew and became this really large group. Got to do some amazing stuff with Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth, toured the world playing video games on stage, did charity events where we raised literally millions of dollars for kids. And it's just like I got to meet so many amazing people in the industry. And when Warner Brothers shut us down in, was it last year? I've lost all track of time. Time means nothing now.
Nothing matters after the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. Time is a flat circle. But when Warner shut us down, I was on severance. And so I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And one of my friends from the industry, Ansi, who used to work for Red Link, so at Ubisoft, he did all the Trials games. He reached out to me and he said, hey, we're working on a new game. I've got a new studio. We're working on a new game. Would you be interested in helping us out and coming on as a community manager? And I was like, well, I've never officially done community management before, but I mean, with Rooster Teeth, we always had this amazing community, and we've always supported them and through Discord and through all other things. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And so that was last October. And then we got to announce our game in February. It's The Last Caretaker. And and so now I work for Channel 37, which is a Finnish-based game company based in Helsinki. And I've been remote working with those guys now for a while. And I'm building a new community. And so it's been a lot of fun. But so I've kind of been on every part of the industry. So I used to, be a kid playing arcade games, worked at an arcade, did marketing for like trailers, did Achievement Hunter, Let's Plays, content creator side. I do my own content creation stuff. And now I'm actually working with a game studio in the industry. So it's pretty wild. My sort of journey has gone over my career and my path. So I hope that answered your question.
I mean, to be fair, working at Sega City, that's beyond working at an arcade. You know that
Well, I mean, so we weren't. I mean, obviously, like if you know Sega City, so there's like a giant Sega City in Vegas. I think at Luxor, they had like one of the biggest arcades in the world. Ours was in a shopping mall, or it was in a mall in Austin, at Lakeline Mall, if you're familiar with Austin. And we were downstairs underneath the movie theater. We had 2 floors. It was an awesome arcade. Growing up, it was a lot of fun. And then personally, it started kind of like I started liking it less because they started putting in ticket games, and that's about when I started working there. So we went from like, having Blitz and Daytona USA and Mortal Kombat and Tekkens to suddenly we had these ticket games where kids would come in with their, $4 in tokens and then play, and their parents would just leave and go somewhere else in the mall, and then we would have to babysit while we were waiting for them to come back. So it became less fun, but still, it was a really perfect first job for me in high school.
I can't remember the first Sega City, but I want to say it was in London that I went. But it's like a 2-3 story thing. It's not like you're just go in and regular arcade like at a mall. It's a big, but yeah, I get the ticket thing because I go to these places with my son, and I'm like, where's the real games? Where are those? But
Yeah.
no, they want to spend $100 to win a $6 plushie. So it's all good.
Got to get 100 rolls of sweet tarts,
Yes. Hype them up and get them hyper for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
So how has that, obviously you came in, I would almost say, the right way. I mean, you look at my team here. We've got Ash, Tom, Dan, they all came from content creation. Now they're doing community management and running the stream and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of similarities. You're still managing a community when you're streaming and you're doing content creation. I mean, you've got 137,000 people that watch this.
Well, I mean, I've been streaming on Twitch now for almost a decade, so I think a lot of those are probably dead accounts or bots or whatever. I've never paid for content, I'll tell you that. I've never paid for followers, but typically when I'm streaming, I'm usually pulling in a few hundred people watching, which it's a lot of fun, and it's just like it's cool to see the people that have been watching me. Or like I get a lot of people who pop in a chat like, oh, I had no idea you stream, and it's like I've been streaming for again almost a decade. But I mean, I've done so many different types of content over so many different platforms that there's a good chance like you might just stumble into me somewhere where it's like, oh yeah, like I watched you because of this and now I found you here. That's cool. Or like maybe like I had a podcast about theme parks and I had people that had never heard of me outside of my theme park podcast, which is wild to me because again, I have a pretty big footprint on the internet. But then you have to remember the internet is enormous. And so the idea of like, yeah, you can stumble into people or find things that you had no idea existed. And so like there's fandoms and everything all over the place that are out there, and that's sort of the beauty of community creation is like trying to make something unique that people fall in love with and keep coming back to. And so that's my goal, at least.
See, I get the opposite. I get people going, they've seen this show or heard the podcast and they're like, you have a consulting firm? And I'm like, yeah, what do you think pays for the rest of it? Because it ain't this. It's like
yeah, the internet doesn't pay a whole lot, unfortunately. I wish it did.
No. So, I mean, what are the biggest things that you've come across? I mean, and we're going to cover a variety of topics here today because we're going to do it from the content creator side and from the community management side. But let's just start off with like the merge of the two.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you learned, while doing content creation and doing a decade of streaming that you've been able to apply to what you're doing with Channel 37 now?
Yeah, I mean, like it's sort of it's nice to be on both or have been on both sides of it because I know what I appreciate and I respect, and I know what really annoys the hell out of me. So being authentic for me is always the nice thing, where it's like, hey, sometimes stuff doesn't work, and if you're honest about that, if you're like, oh yeah, hey, we're having issues with this or whatever, it's like being open and honest with your community. That goes a mile. Like that goes so far because like. Being a game developer now, working with game developers, it's like, oh yeah, we're doing stuff, we're changing things constantly, and at least with us, we're a small indie company where there's like 10 of us basically, and so like we're very flexible, very fluid. And so I've been one of the things that I've been doing that I'm having a lot of fun with is every Wednesday we stream on the Channel 37 Twitch channel, twitch.tv/wearechanel37 if you want to join. And I stream every Wednesday and I show off 15 to 20 minutes of our game we're working on. So like we are way in development on this thing. It is like it is in flux, it is very fluid, and so getting a chance to actually show our community, like, hey, this thing is changing. It's like, oh, look at these doors. These doors are different from what they were last week. And every single week, it's like, here's small improvements and updates that, we don't have the game out yet. And so the idea that you can watch stuff change and get better and get altered, and we're taking feedback from the community constantly, and it's like we're implementing that into the game. And being a content creator and seeing that kind of stuff, like seeing a developer react like that you don't see that very often. So I'm very much like, I want to be that guy. I want to be someone that I know content creators be like, oh, okay, I'm curious, like, what's going on with this? I want to follow this. I want to watch this. And so the people who are interested in the game, they can actually see it in progress and actually see the development process, which, a lot of times is very closed door. And so it's like, no, I want to be open about this. I want to show the glitches. I want to show the things we're working with. I want to show the misspellings in our UI. It's like, yeah, this is all stuff that will get polished and fixed, but here it is, kind of warts and all. And that's cool. I think it's refreshing to actually get a chance to do that. And I think our community appreciates that as well. From what I can tell, they're fans of seeing the process, and it's fun watching someone go through that with them. So yeah, that's my dream, is to share that kind of openness with our community.
Do you get a lot of the toxicity that, we see so often? And I know it's from a very vocal minority part of the crowd, but it's, the people that say anything from, I don't know what, this is very easy to fix, to, whatever. I mean, is there a lot of that you see between the communities?
Not really, honestly, at least not with Channel 37. Again, because, we're trying to cultivate a very positive audience, and we've been really good about that. Anytime someone starts kind of being a jerk online, it's like, hey man, I'll be like, here's your warning. Like, we're not going to deal with that. It's like, we're being cool here. And then, if obviously, like, we have a Discord server that, people have popped in. We've had random spam bots and stuff, and you have to deal with that. But for the most part, I always feel like you kind of get what you give. And the fact that we are being so open, and we're being very, willing to share what we're working on, and very positive with the audience, and be like, hey, yeah, this is stuff, like, we're excited for this. We want to show this to you. I think we get that back. And it's like, if someone's like, oh, that looks broken, it's like, yeah, it probably is broken.
That's extremely fucking broken.
Yeah, it's like, we're not out yet. We've got time before, anyone outside of the company is going to touch this game. So it's like, yeah, there's going to be stuff that straight up doesn't work. And like, there's areas I'm like, cool, I'm not going through that door, because I don't want to show you guys what's back there, because I know what's back there, and it's just a gray box. So, it's, I think for the most part, the community's savvy. And also, I feel like people now, like our community, and just in general, people on the internet kind of understand how this stuff works. Like, early access wasn't a thing when I was growing up. It was like, you would release a game, and if it was broken, you would yell at people. But now it's like, oh yeah, early access, it's still in flux. It's, like a beta version of the game. And so thankfully, we haven't had to deal, knock on wood, we haven't had to deal with a ton of toxicity, especially from our community. Again, it's one of those things where I just nip it as quick as I see it, because if you kind of sit back and let toxic people kind of like think they have a place to stay, it's like they'll fester. And so we do everything we can to just kind of keep that element out, but we try also very hard to make an environment where that element doesn't even appear. So that's the dream, at least.
Yeah, Ash and Tom give people warnings on our Discord. I don't. I'm like, I don't have fucking time for this. Ban, done.
Yeah, maybe that's an age thing too. I think the older I've gotten, the less like F's I have to give. I'm like, nah, you're gone. I don't even want to bother with you.
I'm not dealing with this today. I've got other shit I need to do. So the online community and streaming and content creation has changed a lot in the last 10 years. So when you came over, I mean, you already had a successful following, you had a community, you had all this stuff. So when you go to Channel 37 and you're like, okay, I'm building this from scratch, how did you approach that?
Yeah, so when I started at Channel 37, one of my first things, I kind of did a roadmap of what we wanted to do as far as our community and how we wanted to grow our social, and how to build a community. And the toughest thing for me was the first few months, where once we announced, I think we announced that I had joined the company in like December, and it was like, hey, join our Discord. We're not going to tell you what we're doing yet. And so it was like 2 months of kind of building this community just around vibes, which was, it was difficult, because it's like, if they don't have something to kind of like join and grasp onto, it's like, why am I here? And so that was a lot of, I got to leverage the fact that I have been on the internet and I have a personality that people recognize, that I could at least be like, hey, if you want to hang out with me, this is where I'm hanging out. This is my Discord server. Come in here. I'll be in there chatting. I'm the one running it. So if you're in there, I'm I'm in there too. And so leveraging that to kind of start just kind of the initial seeds of our community. And then when we announced the game, now we're having people who like saw the trailer or seeing the videos that we're putting on, and now they're starting to fall in too. So it was nice to kind of get a leg up where I got to use my sort of notoriety, I guess, to like bring people into the community to get that sort of kickstart. And that was something that, I'm very fortunate that I can do. And I get to, take that capital I've built up with my audience across Rooster Teeth, across my personal stuff, that I was like, okay, I can at least use that. And I think that was one of my big selling points when I pitched myself to the rest of the team at Channel 37. Like, hey, this is what I bring to the table. Like, I'm good on camera and I have an audience. And they're like, okay, like I don't know a ton of stuff about marketing. I know good amounts. And so anyway, that's I sort of was able to use that to get our Discord kickstarted. But now we've got a thriving Discord community, and it's been fun. I just sit back and kind of let them go, and I've been watching them, and it's great. And we do engagement stuff. We have questions that we ask every week. We're posting stuff there, posting videos, and just like chatting about whatever. And so it's been cool. And as the game's getting closer and closer to launch, we got a lot more plans of stuff we're going to do in Discord, including giveaways pretty soon. We have scarves. Scarves are awesome. I love my scarves.
Oh my God. I live in the mountains, so yes, I have my share of scarves as well.
Do you need a scarf? I'll get you a scarf. So Jay, I'll mail one. We're going to PAX, so we're going to be at PAX East next week, and we have our first swag giveaways, which we're getting scarves. So I'll hold one for you, and I'll mail it your way.
All right, this is embarrassing. I've never been to PAX.
You've never been to PAX?
I've never been to PAX, but it's PAX is a community show. There is business that happens there.
Yeah.
But it's never been like a major show compared to everything else. It's like I'm basically on a road trip from the middle of May till August with all the conferences that I go to. But I want to go to PAX and play. I don't want to go to PAX and work.
I get that.
That's the difference. And we got on PAX and it completely just destroyed my train of thought. So folks, make this easy for me today. It's Friday. You know how this goes. If you've got questions about community management, content creation, any of that stuff, pop it in chat and Jack will answer live on the podcast. I give Dan all the credit for getting our Discord started because it was the same thing. It was like, he's like, you have a Twitch channel, we need a Discord. And I'm like, fuck, we have like 3 people watching on Twitch. What do we need? And now there's like 9,000 people from the industry on it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we were doing. This is good.
Yeah. Like that for me, like I always I had a Twitch channel for my personal streaming stuff that my moderators would run, and like they just kind of like maintained it, and I would pop in there, be like, cool, this is what I'm doing, neat. But to actually start one from scratch, and it's like, I mean, they had some Discord servers already up and running when I joined Channel 37, and so it's been kind of a learning experience of kind of figuring out like, oh, this is what we can do, and sort of rework it for a public facing thing, because the Discord server that we had was for early testers, like pre-alpha tester stuff, and so I had to go hide all of that and then kind of rework, have new channels and stuff. And even now, like I posted a thing the other day where I did like, hey, join our #general channel, but it flagged one of the private channels, and so everyone's like, this is broken, and it took me so long to figure out what was going on.
It's early access.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, yeah, it says I can't access, and I'm like, no, it's public, it's right there, what are you talking about? And it took some time to figure out, but it's one of those things where it's like, hey, and also I'm honest about it. I'm like, yeah, oops, that was my bad, I'm breaking stuff. And I try to be painfully honest and point out when I make mistakes. And you see the people who are like, oh, I'm flawless, I do everything perfectly. It's like, no one does. And so like I think that's sort of the personality I want to bring to anything we do with like Channel 37, anything I do with my personal stuff, where I'm like, yeah, I don't know it all. I don't know everything. I'm learning as I go, and I hope you can help me out. And honestly, I have people in like the Discord channels that will pop up, and people like, oh yeah, like try using this. And like people have their own servers, and it's like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that. I love people reaching out and willing to help and like giving good advice. And it's been fun. It's been a learning experience, and it's been humbling to be like, oh yeah, I'm starting over fresh after, I worked at Rooster Teeth for 15 years. So to start from square one again was just like, okay, let's do this. Let's try something new. And it's been fun.
See, I'm old enough to go, to be extremely impressed with the fact that you were Rooster Teeth. Because even though I didn't play Halo, because I think I'm a little older than you.
Did we lose you?
I don't think so.
Is that me or is that you?
I'm here. You still got me?
Hi, everybody.
Did I go away? All right. Dan, Tom.
There we go.
No, you're
Was
still
that-
there. You're still there. Jack just glitched out for a second.
It was me that glitched out. I thought you glitched out. I saw you.
No,
all disappear.
we saw you and heard you, and we talked about you. And then
I have no idea what's going on. I just work here.
Yeah.
StreamYard can act a little bit goofy sometimes, so that's all good. Anyway,
So,
sorry, where were we?
We were so even though I didn't play Halo because I'm of that generation that thinks a shooter on a console is an abomination. Every shooter should be played with mouse and keyboard. But I fucking loved Red and Blue. I still go back and watch it every now and then just because it's like, memories and shit. All right. So last caretaker, are you all right now? It looks like you're self-publishing. Are you self-publishing or are you? Okay.
We are, yeah. We're self-publishing. That's actually, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I was able to join the team. Initially, they were looking to go through a publisher. We're working with Supercell. They're helping us with funding and everything. But as far as the marketing, publishing, we're self-publishing. Yeah, again, initially, we were going to go through a publisher, and they were going to have a whole marketing team and a social media team. But then they were like, we want to keep it in-house and have a little bit more control over it. And so they took the budget that was going to go towards that, and they were able to hire me on. And so, yeah, so it's all independent. Like we can, which is cool because we can do everything very fluidly. Like if we need to post something fast, we don't have to go through a whole team. It's just literally me and like, our, Ansi, who's our creative director on the game, he can just reach out to me and be like, hey, I need you to post this, or I need you to make this. Like, cool, let's do it right now. And it's neat. It's also for me, it's a little bit nerve wracking because there'll be times where it's like, I guess I should post this. I don't know. I hope I'm not upsetting anyone. It's like, because there's not a lot of red tape. Like there's not a lot of approvals when like Auntie's very much like, do it, just go nuts and like have fun, like apologize if something breaks. And it's like, okay. And so, which is weird because like, when I was working with Rooster Teeth, we had layers of stuff before anything would kind of go out. And so it's kind of like, all right, I'm sort of going without a net now, which again, I've been in the industry. I've been working on the internet. That's the thing. I've been on the internet for almost 20 years. And so the fact that, I've been around that long and I'm still, making stuff hopefully means that I kind of know what I'm doing. So I haven't broken anything too hardcore yet that it's all gone. So yeah, so it's fun, Jack. But sorry.
I said, none of us know what we're doing. We're just really good at acting like we do. And that's, I tell people, I was like, I'm doing this for 30 years. It's not like I'm that much smarter than anyone else. It's just like Groundhog Day. I've seen every scenario already, and I can pretty much tell you how it's going to happen. But I mean, it's the reason I ask about, whether you are self-publishing or not, because this is the situation that a lot of indies, and as we go on, like it or not, they're going to find themselves in as well, because it's simply hard to get publishing these days.
Yeah.
Devolver released their public statements or whatever, and it showed like the big downhill trend in how much that they're able to fund per game. And when you have fewer publishers and you have less money, you're going to have to prepare to self-publish. So when you're coming in and you're like, okay, here's the game, how do you start that, what we would call a go-to-market strategy for an indie game when you're self-publishing?
Well, I mean, a lot of that stuff was kind of like built in before I showed up. But for us, it's, I'm just taking this stuff that I've seen. I like the knowledge I've learned over, my 20 years of kind of being in the video game industry, where it's like, one of the big things right now is we're doing a lot of like a lot of shows, a lot of showcases, which I didn't realize how big of a deal it was. Where it's like, we did Mix back in April during GDC, and like we've got the PC game show, or like coming up pretty soon. And it's like Next Fest. Like there's all of these smaller things where it's like indie developers can show up and post their games and to show off stuff. And Steam's really good about like pushing forth these games that are being worked on by not giant AAA corporations. So it is it's a double-edged sword, because it is very cool to sort of have control of your own destiny and be able to market yourself and do whatever you want online as far as promotion. But also the idea of like, you're not a AAA. So it's like, you're not going to get a TV commercial during the NBA finals, and also there's so many indie game developers. There's so many great developers out there that you can kind of get lost in the mix, and it's tough because like, how do you make yourself stand out? How do you, really rise above the rest? And I think that's where the social media and the marketing stuff comes into play. And that's kind of where I fall in there, where it's like, I'm doing everything I can to sort of push our style of game to an audience that's going to dig that style of game. And like, I can't stress enough how important it is to get, you know, your game in front of like certain influencers, which I know that's can be a dirty word, but like, we have people that have watched our game and, you know, immediately their audience is perfect for like, if it's a style of game that they play, their audience is going to fall in love with it and start spreading the word. And even seeing like Reddit posts that have like people talking about your game popping up in other things and cozy groups and everything. It's like, oh, that's great. And so it's tough though, because, you know, well, the industry is so different now from what it was. And again, like going back to like early access and how early access used to mean just like broken but playable, but now early access basically means like an early polished version of the game. And kind of working with that, it's just it's tough. And I am learning as I'm going along. And yeah, I think I rambled a bit there. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I hope
we all ramble. That's why I don't. I told somebody the other day, I used to be really good when we first started doing this, and I would like write down 8 or 10 questions and send it to the guest like 2 or 3 days before. And then after about a year of that, I realized that we never really got to those questions because we rambled, and I stopped doing that shit.
Well, it's also if you prepare for something so much, it's kind of like it feels prepared and rehearsed, and it's like, yes. no. Like, if you want honesty, just like let's ramble. It'll be great.
We'll tell you how like it is. All right, so Scholar's going to test your marketing knowledge.
Oh no.
The game looks great, but what is the one aspect that you can say will make us all want to buy it immediately?
Oh man, the mystery behind this game is fascinating. So if you know anything about Ansi and the Trials games, you know that he was always really good about adding kind of this sort of deep layer of history and story to a game that you would never get anywhere else. And already now I'm watching him kind of manipulate the game and work on the story and what's going on. So for a brief elevator pitch of the game is basically the world's gone bad. We're in an alternate universe. The world's gone bad. Ice caps have melted. Humanity realizes that, the planet's flooding. We need to leave the planet. So humanity develops a technology to get into space, and humanity is basically moved into space. But the one thing you can't do in space, which we all know, you can't make babies in space. So what they did was on Earth, on these platforms, they built these machines to take human DNA and actually create new humans, like human seeds. And they built a whole series of robots to take care of these human seeds that would then cultivate them. Once they became viable and became humans, they would launch them into space to join the rest of humanity. So that was life on Earth and in space. Something happened. And hundreds of years later, you wake up, you are the last caretaker. You are a caretaker robot on planet Earth, which is full of water. All the other robots are now dead or disconnected. There's no humans left, and you have to figure out what happened. And so, and then your whole goal is to find these human DNA seeds across multiple platforms, take them to a machine that you can then like turn them into viable humans, and then launch them into outer space to join the rest of humanity, as far as you know. And so that's the game. It's kind of someone described it as WALL-E with a gun, because there is an aspect of like protection and like things are coming after you and they don't want you to take the human seeds. And so, but all that being said, the story behind it is a lot of fun. I've had the chance to kind of look over the World Bible, and it's incredible. And the mysteries they're layering into this game are going to be some of the most fun. And I'm going to have so much fun watching our community dive through it and try to figure out what the heck is going on in this game. And so that would be the thing. If you like a good mystery, if you like trying to figure out like riddles and puzzles, this is a game for you. Single player, so no multiplayer stuff. It's a single player experience only, which we need more of. And yeah, so I hope that's it. Mystery, lots of mystery and riddles and puzzles. That's the key to this game.
I'll confess, when you said that you couldn't have babies in space, and then they had these, stations on Earth, and what's happening. I'm like, what are we having, like harem? What is going on down here? Okay, robots. But I also see like this is how the Matrix started, when the last caretaker is sick of launching rockets, and he's like, wait a second, we can use these as batteries and go on in that direction.
That's the secret. We're actually owned by Fox, and this is actually a Matrix game. I didn't want to tell anyone, but you figured it out. It's actually a sequel to the Matrix. We're doing Matrix 5.
6. Oh, is it original 5? I don't know how many Matrixes we've done.
There's the trilogy, and then I think it's 5. Anyway, yeah.
So I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Joe Gervasis says, if you're a content creator and you also run the studio, and keep in mind, Jack doesn't run the studio.
I wish.
How do you keep the studio Discord more business focused while having it connected to your content creator Discord? How do you manage the two?
So
how do you manage the two between basically running the corporate channel and then running your own channel?
So thank you, Joker, for the question. Yeah, actually, so I have my Discord is stupid. I have so many servers up. So for us in particular, I'll tell you a little bit about making the sausage here. For Channel 37, I'm actually on 3 different Channel 37 Discords. We have a public facing one, which is the one that's out there that anyone can join at discord.gg/channel37. Join today. Hang out with me. So we have that one, which is where we put all of our public facing stuff, where we put trailers, gameplay, we do questions, everything like that. That's where I'm hanging out with the community. Then we have a Channel 37 studio, a Discord as well, which is that's just the people who work in the studio, and that's where all development cycles happening there, and they're posting stuff, and I kind of watch there oh my gosh, you guys are doing so much cool stuff. And then we have another one that's with contractors. We have another studio that's separately for contractors, so we kind of keep everything separated, so nothing kind of bleeds over, and there's no accidental oh, you posted this to the wrong general channels. No, it's very, very clearly delineated. This is for business, this is for back end, this is for public facing. And I think that's very important to have that kind of separation, because even if you have multiple folders and everything like that, different things within it, it's something could happen where it's I physically have to go click on a different server and there's a whole different channel list. So that I can't recommend enough to if you're looking to kind of have a public facing side and a back end facing side, that's the way to go about it. And so I hope I'm not getting in trouble telling any secrets about Channel 37 right now.
Y'all not use Slack because we're handling all the publishing stuff. We've got all these. We have an entire Slack channel and we have a Discord, so we've got ours separated that way. Do y'all internally at Channel 37 no Slack at all? Everything is done in Discord.
Yeah, no, it's everything's done in Discord. It works out pretty well. They had been on Discord only since I joined. As a matter of fact, they try to keep everything on Discord. Even emails, they're we don't want to email. If you need to post something, post it in the Discord server. And I think it's mainly for archival purposes, where it's hey, I need to go back and find this. It's not buried in some weird email thread. It's just oh, this is, if you're in the QA portion of our server, it's you can go through all the QA stuff and find it and just use the search functions. So I think that's the best way for us, and it works out nice for me because again, they're based in Helsinki and I'm in Austin, Texas. So their workday begins at 1 a.m. my time, and so their workday is 1 a.m. until 10 p.m. or 1 a.m. until 10 a.m., excuse me, my time. So my workday is basically 6 a.m. until about 2 p.m. So we have some time of overlap where if we need to talk directly, we can. So we'll jump in a Discord call or a Google Meet or something like that. And so, and so having that server there as well for me, if they're having a conversation, I can go back and kind of parse through what they're talking about. Oh, okay, this is what I need to focus on today because that's what they were going on about. So, some people use Slack. I get that. It's a thing where they've been using Discord since I've been here, and it's free. I mean, I have Discord Nitro because I have to run the community stuff, but it's you don't have to pay for it, and it's nice, and so far so good. Knock on wood that we haven't lost anything, but that's our platform of choice, and I know there are many out there, but this one is ours, and we like it.
I wanted to do the very same thing when we started doing the publishing, but I was outvoted by my production team because apparently a lot of the developers were already on Slack, and I was but Discord's free. So yeah, that's the downside. Slack is not.
Yeah.
So you work in much the same way like my entire company does. Everybody's remote and we're spread all over the world. You're working from home. You're dealing with a company that's 7 hours ahead of you, 7 or 8?
I think 7 hours ahead right now. Their daylight saving time is a different daylight saving times than ours. So, and they're in again Finland, so which is on the northern part of the globe. So it's right now it stays light all day for them. I think their sunrise is 5 a.m. It's wild, and so I don't know how they can handle that.
So what sort of tools do you use? How do you manage working? And I know there's a lot of folks that work remote now. This is not a new thing, but how does your typical setup work working remote for a studio that's 7 hours away?
So again, Discord's our big thing. So that's our primary means of communication. So anytime we need to talk to anyone, that's how we get a hold of each other, and the channels there. Also, we use, Confluence. We use Miro is a big thing for us. So I hadn't heard of Miro before, but if you haven't used it, it's amazing. It's basically a big creative board where you can kind of go on. It's basically a whiteboard, an online whiteboard that you can have people join. You can add text, images, links, everything like that. So we have all of our plans done in Miro, where it's we have have a publishing Miro. We have, a release Miro. We have a backstory Miro. And so it's nice to kind of be able to like wander around these giant boards and like be able to zoom in on stuff. And like, that's where I post all my plans for what we're going to be doing for our social media campaigns and for our stuff on Discord. That's huge. Obviously, the development side, they're using stuff that I don't know about. I'm like, I see like alerts for things popping up in like renders and like, compilations and compilers. And I'm like, that's Greek to me. Mark is red. Sure. Like, I don't know what that is. But like primarily I'm on Miro. That's my big thing. And then we have, Gmail and all of that stuff. But I mean, I think I forget what is, I think we're not Squarespace. I forget anyway, one of our web browser or one of our website things is another just kind of basic one. I think that's sort of it. But Miro, Discord are my big two, being on like the marketing side of things. Cause like when I have my plans, I make them there and then I reach out to them and talk through them through Discord. And then obviously I'm running the community stuff on Discord as well. So those are my tools of choice. Those are my weapons I have to pick from.
I threatened my production team's lives if they added me to Jira. So I'm with you on that one. I want nothing to do with it. I will cause more damage than I will actually fix.
Yeah. When I went through my onboarding, they're like, here's all the different things you need to make accounts for. And I'm like, I like created my account, looked at it, panicked, and it's like, I'm never opening that again. It's in my last pass. I'm not going to touch it. It's like, I fear breaking anything. I'm like, I don't know. This is not, no, thank you. Thank you. Please pass, move on.
So, I mean, for the smaller teams out there, if they're working on a project, they haven't gone early access yet, but they're leading to that point. What are some of the very most basic steps that you recommend them taking to go ahead and start not only with the marketing, but the community building as well?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, like that for me, think about what you have experienced. Think about the communities you've joined and why you joined them, and like what brought you to them, what kept you there, and try to replicate that as much as possible, because people are looking for communities. I mean, like that's like humans in general are looking to socialize. They want to be in groups. And so you want to find things that are going to draw people to your team, draw people to your community. And what can you do? What can you do to inspire people? What can you do to like tempt people to join? Like giveaways are always huge. Like people love getting free stuff. People love getting free stuff. I mean, they will do anything go to a PAX and watch like the crowds of zombies around people throwing out t-shirts. It happens. But again, also it's the vibes, it's like if you have a positive energy, like that's important. Like that's if someone goes into your chat room and people are just talking mad shit to each other, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be involved with that. I don't want to get in the middle of that and just leave and they'll never come back. Whereas like if they come in and people are being very, inclusive and very friendly and very welcoming, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll hang out here. And again, also monitoring what's going on, keeping an eye on it. So like, don't let the spiciness pop up and like start pissing people off. Like, no, we're cool, we're chill here. If that's what you're going for. If you're going for spicy, by all means, go nuts with that. But I would say when you're making your own stuff, when you're starting to like open it up to the community, think about like what differentiates you between anyone else. Like, why would someone want to join your group? And then where can you promote to hopefully get people to join? So finding stuff similar out there, finding genres of games that maybe people are that is similar to yours. Be like, hey, if you like this, check out our new game. We have a trailer out. Like, I hope you dig this. I hope you have a fun time with it. And like, I always try to be very careful about stepping on toes. Or I'm like, hey, I just want to let you guys know about this. I'm not trying to get in your way, but hey, if it's cool, let me know. Like, even I posted about our game on the Rooster Teeth subreddit. Rooster Teeth has been shut down for a long time, but I didn't want to just self-promote. I didn't want to just advertise on our subreddit. So I like went to the mods and I'm like, hey, it's Jack from Rooster Teeth. I'm working here now. Is it cool if I post this? And they were like, thank you for saying that. Yeah. Instead of just kind of like throwing your stuff out there. It's like, oh yeah, actually take the time to kind of like warm up to a community before you try to like, show off your stuff. So, yeah, it's, I think finding the people out there that are going, that are going to be curious about it and trying to reach out to them. That's the important thing. And just think about that as you're coming close to launch and as you are launching your game.
So this is an area that I'm assuming you've got a head start in. Now, as a content creator, how do you approach other content creator? What are the do's and don'ts when you're reaching out to somebody going, hey, here's our game. Will you please play it and show it to our crowd, your crowd?
standard form emails suck, where it's like, hey, dear XXXXX, I work for Channel 37. We're working on this brand new game. We like your content. Why? And we think you would be great for this. It's like, oh God, I just erase those immediately. Like those are the worst things ever. If you're not crafting a statement for me specifically or genuinely know who I am, it's like, yeah, there's no point. It's like just press releases with default names. It's like, I don't like that. I mean, I know obviously when you're reaching out to thousands of creators, like that's one way of doing it. If you're a company doing that kind of stuff, totally get it. But if you are a smaller, developer, if you're someone trying to reach out to specific people, craft your emails to those specific people. Let them know you know who they are. Not let them know you've seen their content and are saying like, hey, I think you would dig this and I hope you would. But having that sort of generic default email is like the worst thing ever. And it's just like, yeah, I would say get away from that and try to make it feel as real and authentic and try to make yourself come across as a real person, and also the person you're talking to, like you're treating them like a real person and not just like a cog that you want to take and drop in your machine. It's like, no, you're like, hey, we play video games. Like that's such a cool career. It's such a cool opportunity to do what we do. And it's like, we want you, like we have something that I think would be cool for you. And if you dig it, that's great. We'd love to have you be a part of it. And so I think that's the biggest thing. If you're going to approach a content creator, especially a specific one, make sure to go about like that, because you're going to lose them immediately. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't even care about this. And then if it pops up later, like, yeah, I don't care about it. So
that's something that we hear a lot. And so I'm going to dive into it a little bit.
Right.
What sort of things can people put in those emails to make you not look at it and go, okay, that's just a generic email?
I think any sort of like, if someone explains to you why they're reaching out to you, like, hey, I get a lot of emails where like the ones I read are the ones that are like, hey, I was a big fan of Achievement Hunter back in the day. I used to watch Fails of the Week, and now like getting to see you grow and do your own channel and stuff is really cool. I have this cool opportunity. I don't know if you're interested in it, like that kind of stuff, where it's like, oh, I know who you are. I know your backstory, or I've seen the content you make. I think that's the important thing. It actually shows like, okay, it's not just like, what was their highest rated video? I enjoyed, Animal Crossing when you did this. It's like, no, like make me feel like you actually know who I am. And I think that for me feels like, okay, you give a shit enough to actually pay attention to my stuff, or you actually are a fan or know who I am. And yeah, I'm much more willing to talk to you or respond to you in that kind of form, as opposed to the, dozens of sort of standard form press release emails you get every day.
See, and I get those, and I know they're standard forms because they're like, we love the games that you play on your channel. I'm like, we haven't played a game on our channel in 7 years. So that's a dead giveaway. But so how should devs go about trying to identify the best creators to send their stuff to?
I mean, honestly, knowing what your game is, and because I assume if you're making a game, you play games similar to that, or you have played games similar to that. And then, I mean, for me, honestly, it's just watching content creators and kind of seeing their communities and seeing what they're doing. I mean, if you kind of just go all right, who's the top 3 streamers of, I don't know, Brawl Stars or something like that. It's like, if you don't care about them, actually, it's like, okay, whatever. But it takes the time to actually watch their content and watch what they do, because sometimes maybe it might be something radically different from your values of a streamer, but you're like, oh, well, they're playing Call of Duty, and they got a whole bunch of viewers, so we'll just throw them an invite to our game. It's like, oh, but maybe they're terrible people. So,
it could be Nazis.
Or maybe it's something that's like, oh yeah, we don't want to be associated with that. But there are certain streamers, I won't name any names, but there's certain streamers that are like, oh, they now have some pretty hefty baggage to go along with them. And you can get a Howard Stern type guy where it's like, okay, they have hefty baggage, but people still watch them. But do you want to have your game associated with these people? And it's like, and also, especially if you're targeting some of these streamers that have tens of thousands of viewers, like live viewers, you're going to be paying a lot of money to get them to cover your game. And so, do you want that? And also, you can pay them, $5,000 to $10,000 to play your game for an hour, but are they going to care about it? Or is it very clearly like, oh, I'm getting paid right now, so I'm playing this game. After I'm done, I'm just going to forget about it forever. And it's just disposable to them. So I find reaching out to content creators that maybe don't have the largest audiences, but are more authentic and more in tune with their community, and finding stuff that works for you, like, or finding stuff that works for them, I should say. Like if your game is something where it's like it fits perfectly with the streamer, watch them, get to know their community, and then be like, hey, like I have this thing, you might dig it, give it a shot, and then if you're like, hey, I can sponsor you if you want to play it for a little bit, or even if you play it for a little bit, maybe we can hook you up with some cash, something like, try to make it feel real. And there's so many creators out there that you can find someone that's going to really work with your title and work with what you're working on. And it's just a matter of like doing the footwork and actually putting, looking around and finding someone that'll work. And I'll promise you, the streamers that have 50 to 100 viewers are going to be so excited to have the opportunity to like maybe get paid a little bit to show off something they're passionate about anyway. And so
all right,
there.
Jack froze again. Wait, I think I can hear you.
Oh, am I gone again?
Oh, no, you're back. You're good.
Okay.
You're back.
Sorry, my Spectrum, man. Come on. I'm waiting on Google Fiber.
Well, don't worry. I just got an alert on my phone that our water is going out and we're on a boil advisory. It's like, hey, welcome to living in the mountains. So on your short list, have you started reaching out to other creators about Last Caretaker yet?
We've had a few. We've had so we do work with a marketing agency that has reached out to a few streamers. We had a couple. I personally have a lot of friends that do streaming, so I've like, when we put out the trailer, I was like, hey, if you could watch the trailer, it'd be pretty cool. And so like seeing my friends react to like the trailer and stuff's been a lot of fun. But again, we're still a good ways away from early access, so we don't actually have like a playable build to the public. As a matter of fact, at PAX East this weekend, we're taking our very first build of the game that we're allowing people to play. It's closed door preview, but still, it's like the first time ever anyone outside of the company is actually going to be playing the game. So, but yeah, so we're still a ways away, and right now, there's only so much you can do. Where it's like, hey, watch some footage and talk about it. So it's like we don't want to kind of like do that too much. We want to wait until the game's actually out there, or at least close enough to being out there that we can then start sending builds to streamers. Be like, hey, play our game for a little bit, check it out, see what you think. And so but yeah, we've got a lot of work going on right now behind the scenes. And but the cool thing is I can show that off. I can show it every Wednesday. I stream it, and so that's a blast to do that.
So give everybody just an idea, like in your head list of, okay, when the game is ready to be played and we want it out there, how many content creators are you actually going to be sending it out to? Are we talking like tens? Are we talking dozens, hundreds?
That's sort of the marketing plan. It kind of depends how it goes. Like as we sort of track, as we're tracking wish list, and as we're tracking kind of like how the game is trending. Once we get closer, we'll kind of know our budget for marketing, because honestly, like the more excitement we have, the larger our marketing budget becomes. So as we get closer to it, we'll let you know. But obviously, we don't want to just like flood the market where it's like everyone's playing this game. It's like we want the right people playing the game. So ideally, we're targeting tens of streamers, where it's like I would rather have it go to 20 streamers that I know are going to love the game and are going to be passionate about it, as opposed to 100 streamers where they're just like, I'm just getting paid, a few $100 to play this game for a couple hours. It's like, but I would rather have the people that like, oh my gosh, like I love this game. Like this is fun. I'm going to play this outside of, the sponsorship stuff. It's like, that's what I want. And I think, we have enough time now to actually build up our sort of roster of people that we're keeping an eye on. And we've got people that we sort of flagged this, like, oh yeah, they really reacted really well to the trailer. And we think like, these are going to be people we're going to reach out to. And we have, our game is similar to games like Raft, or like kind of Sea of Thieves, and like there's some stuff out there, Satisfactory. There's stuff out there that's like we know people are into that also will hopefully like our game. And so it's like those are the ones we're watching right now. And so we're gonna kind of like quietly seed stuff to those people and be like, hey, check that, we saw you like this before, maybe you like this now, and then see how that goes. And if they're still into it, then that's when we approach them and actually like build up some cool relationships.
So I know there's always a mixed strategy when it comes to this. It's like you've got the creators that you're willing to pay because they have these giant audiences and it's a good fix. And then you've got the ones that you're like, please hope I don't have to pay you to do this, that you're going to enjoy it. How often, because you mentioned the people that just play, it's like, hey, I'm getting sponsored to play this. I'm going to play it for, 1, 2, 3 hours and then I'm done. Yeah. How often do you see those people that you did pay and they do their sponsored post or stream or whatever? how often do you actually see them turn around and go, "Oh shit, this was fun. I'm going to play it on my own without getting paid on the stream as well"?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest right now, we've only done a couple sponsorships for the game, just for the trailer. And again, they were kind of, I mean, literally they're not playing the game yet. So I was kind of just hanging out in their Twitch chats, just like talking about the game while they're watching it and stuff. And, but I mean, like for the most part, it's like, yeah, they're excited for the game, but again, we're still early on where there's no next step just yet. You know, it's kind of like, that looks cool. I'm going to wish list it. And that's sort of where that's about as far as we can take it right now. But the people we have reached out to, the people that we have shown the game off to that have done this, that are sponsorships, they seem genuinely interested in it. And it's like, that's cool. Like, I think we got the right people. And we have a lot more that we're, again, keeping an eye on. But once we get kind of closer to that window, it's like, you know, sort of the early access window. Like once we're approaching that, then it's like, okay, now we're going to go pretty hardcore into like, now we're going to start showing this off and maybe give like early access to people. And like, those are the ones where it's going to be like, yeah, well, like we're going to sponsor you, but if you want to keep going, you're more than welcome to. And,
we're not saying you have to stop. You keep going.
I mean, I've done that too, where I've had sponsorships for games where I'm like, holy shit, this game's perfect. Like I love this game, and like I'll just keep going with it, you know. And so you strive for that, you hope for that, but you know, contractually they're not obligated to do that. So the key is for us to know our audience and know who we're working with and who we're reaching out to. And so, you know, the dream is you give the game to someone and they love it so much that they can't put it down. And you know, if you help initiate that with a little bit of cash to grease the wheels, okay. But then if they're doing it in front of an audience, that audience then is like, I want to play this game too, then everything has gone right.
Is there a budget that teams should have in mind when they're starting to do this?
$1 billion. I genuinely don't know. The budgeting stuff, that's sort of like above me, and I try to stay out of it. Numbers scare me because I am like that is the one thing, honestly, like as a content creator, like when I worked for Rooster Teeth, most of our, like all my sponsorships ran through Rooster Teeth. So like any personal stuff I would do would go through them because we had contract deals and stuff. And now as like an independent content creator, an independent contractor, I have to price myself, and that is horrifying. I hate that. I hate the idea of putting a price tag on content for myself. I know people do it, and that's great, but yeah, anyway, so I have no idea when it comes to numbers and budgets and stuff. That's I just sort of sit back and be like, hey, they're asking about numbers, someone help me. That's not my wheelhouse.
That's not uncommon. I mean, same with content creators, same with a consulting firm. I mean, there's things that we do that, you know, we're like, okay, what should we charge for this? Like, what else is doing it? There's no set whatever. And you see contractors that do art and everything else. That's a very, very common position to be in. And it's one of the questions that I get from, you know, folks that are starting consulting firms, like, how did you start doing it? How did you start pricing? I did the most boring thing possible. I made a spreadsheet and like would figure out something that we were doing, and I wrote every task that had to go into it, how long it took, and then put a number on it, and there we go. But it's hard. I mean, it's not something you can just like randomly come out. There's not a rate sheet.
There's no global spreadsheet of like, you've been in the industry this long, this is how much you should be making. And it's like, I wish there was. Like, even I do some production work for another company, and I do some like editing work for them, and I was reached out by someone within the team saying like, hey, we have these projects, we want to take stuff and re-edit it down to like social videos, like how much would you charge for that? I'm like, I don't know. And I gave him a number. He's like, okay. And then he kind of reached back out and he was like, well, my bosses looked on Fiverr and they found people that'll do it for like $50. And I'm like, I mean, like, you understand, like, it's like they literally reached out to like, so me as an independent guy, but they reached out to like Fiverr, and it's like nothing for those guys. But then they also reached out to like studios, which was like thousands of dollars. And I'm like, it's somewhere in the middle of that, you know. But you know, the bosses see, oh, let's just go with the cheap route. And it's like, you're gonna get the cheap content. So anyway, yeah, it is tricky though, because it's like, what do you do? And it's like, you don't want to undersell yourself, but you also don't want to blow someone away with a huge number that they're like, yeah, we're not going to talk to you anymore. So it is a weird spot to be in, and I wish there were some standardized rates, you know.
No, there's not going to be. It's just this is the world that we live in. We just all continue to make it up as we go along.
Yeah, we're all gonna be replaced by robots anyway at some point. So let's enjoy it while we're here.
I'm looking forward to that at this point, honestly. You know, it's like vacation. Like I could deal with that.
So you're the guy in Wall-E just sitting on the chair, being auto-fed, cruising around. Right?
I'm not that fat yet. I mean, I'm on my way, but I mean, not that bad. All right, we got a few more minutes of Jack's time. So if anybody's got last minute questions on content creation, community management, fireman chat, we'll get it going. In the meantime, I'm going to pop the link for the last caretaker up there. Is there anything else that you are keen on bestowing the wisdom of your years to indie devs on?
I'll tell you my general piece of advice for everyone, mostly content creators, but really just anyone doing anything, is I've always said make stuff, because the next thing you work on is going to be better than the thing you're working on now, and the thing after that's going to be better than that one. And there's no experience better than just doing the thing and knowing to go to the next thing. Because I have people who are like, I want to be an editor. I'm like, cool. What have you edited? It's like, well, I've edited these 3 things, and now I'm pitching myself everywhere. It's like, nope, you need a backlog of stuff. You need tons of things. Like, just keep making things, keep doing stuff, and like you'll get more and more experience just by making new stuff that will be more valuable than anything else. Like we see when I was at Rooster Teeth, we'd see kids come out of college with like a portfolio with like 3 things, and I'm like, cool, where's the rest of it? It's like, even like we hired a guy named Michael Jones on. He was he did videos for us for over a decade, and I saw a video on Reddit. It was him chasing something in Crackdown, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I went to his YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel had like dozens of other videos, and like they had no views on him, but it was like, oh, I could see he's been making content. I'm like, okay, this guy's making stuff. And so we reached out to him, and he eventually hired him on, and he worked with Rooster Teeth forever. And it's like, that's the important thing, is having content, having stuff that you've done, and not just being like, I've made these 3 things, I want a job now. It's like, no, keep making stuff. So if you're an artist, keep making art. If you're an editor, keep making videos. And even people tell me, it's like, like I want to shoot music video, or I want to shoot videos. Like, what's the best way to do it? It's like, make a music video. You don't have to worry about audio that way. Like, literally just take a song, make a music video for it, shoot with your friends, cut it together. The technology now, like my cell phone has more technology than the 5 years I spent in a film school at the University of Texas. Like, you can get better quality everything out of that for a fraction of the price and a fraction of the time. And so there's really no excuse if you want to get into the content creation realm. If you want to start streaming, you literally stream from a phone, make stuff. It's just make stuff. I can't stress that enough. That is my piece of advice for anyone out there in any sort of creative industry.
And someone on Discord added, and share it to everybody as well, because that's the beauty of social media. If what you're doing isn't that good, no one's going to remember that in like 45 minutes. I mean, it's put it out there, keep improving, keep doing it. That's fantastic advice.
Yeah, and don't be embarrassed about sharing your stuff too. Like, that's the thing. A lot of people make stuff and kind of keep it like closed in. It's like, no, share it with the world, because I mean, you're going to get, hopefully positive comments, but, if you do get some criticism, like, okay, like, how can I make it better, and just get better that way? And so anyway, it is scary though. It is like putting your stuff out there can be very scary for the first few times. But again, I've been making content online for over 20 years now. And so at this point, I'm just like, yeah, someone's going to hate my stuff. Someone's going to hate what I'm doing, but I'm going to choose to mute or just, ban those people. So I'll just curate myself.
Oh, good. Jack, this has been fantastic, man. I appreciate it. When do you leave for PAX? Like tonight, or you in the morning, or? Oh,
no, PAX is next weekend, right?
Oh, I thought it was this weekend.
Oh, okay. God, you scared the hell out of me. No, it's next weekend.
Okay, good. Then you have a week. I
have a week. I'm going to be out of PAX. I leave on Wednesday, and I'm out there till Sunday. So if you're in Boston and you want to say hi, feel free to come by. I'm on Blue Sky as well. If you follow me on Blue Sky, that's where I'll be posting about stuff. But please join our Discord server, discord.gg/channel37. That's where I hang out. That's channel 37, the number 37. And also, check out The Last Caretaker. It's awesome. I can't stress enough how excited I am for this game, and to see it in development, see it changing, and seeing and watching the community help influence what we're doing with it has been really, really badass. And I'm very pumped to be working for these guys.
I'm not just blowing smoke when I say I've actually already wishlisted during this call, because I get
I did it too. I wishlisted it too.
Subnautica vibes from it, and I love Subnautica.
It's funny because so I stream on channel 30 so I stream at twitch.tv/wearechannel37 and I do that every Wednesday. And again, right now the game isn't in a place where I can play it for a really long time because it's still highly in development. So I'll be streaming other stuff. So I streamed Subnautica for a while. I'd never played it before. So like games that are kind of similar. So I stream Subnautica, and then someone's like, Power Wash Simulator is water. I'm like, okay, so we've been streaming Power Wash Simulator. I streamed a little bit of Satisfactory, and so I'll probably end up playing Raft for a little bit, kind of like as we're getting to a point where now it's like, oh, I can actually start playing the game for a bit longer than like the 15-20 minutes before I like right now. I kind of sort of stuck to the tutorial hangar area because they're like, that's polished enough. There's enough stuff you can show in there, and so it's been fun kind of figuring out like what's something new I can show this week in here. And so
let's go run in that corner, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it is neat though because it's like you see stuff. It's like oh, this moved. Like this glow stick wasn't there before. Now, like in watching the community also pick up on that. Like this is different, and it's like that's cool. I dig that you guys are seeing that as well. And so, but if you want to check out our archives, youtube.com/wearechannel37 as well. You can go there and see everything we've posted before. If you want to see all the live stuff, which I don't know of any other developer that's just posting raw live footage of their game that is heavily in development. And so it's kind of fun to be able to do that. And I'm having a blast with it, kind of doing the stuff that I wished I got to see about the games that I fell in love with.
Well, you should check out Lost Skies, which is the latest early access launch from Humble Games.
Ooh.
Shameless plug.
I should check out that game. I should definitely check that out. Awesome. Anything else there, boss?
I'm good. It's
All
Friday,
right,
man. It's Friday.
It's awesome. Friday. Thank you so much I've only got 2 more streams today. Well, one more stream and 1 recording. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on here, Jack. It's been awesome. Already wish listed Joker of Aces. Looks like an amazing game. It does. It
Excellent.
does.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words of wisdom. And I love that they like make stuff, right? A lot of people are like, I want to wait until I've got a good computer. You know what? If you got a crappy laptop, if you got a junky phone, just go and make stuff. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
just go and make stuff. Don't wait till you got the best equipment or the best this or that. But thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, for sure. Coming on here. Our Discord, discord.gg/indiegamebusiness. If you want to hear and meet a bunch of industry folk, it's awesome in there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of talk. So come on in there. And all of our things at indiegamebusiness.com. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get that list of publishers and investors. And then also coming up here very soon is our May deep dive into marketing.
One of our biggest conferences ever already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got over 650 attendees now, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be good.
Because it has the word marketing.
Yes.
Yes. That's it.
And it's free.
And it's free. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. So where we just go to indiegamebusiness.com and you can sign up for it right there. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.